Okay, now this is rather interesting. So today I watched a video that actually inspired me, or it actually made me think about something, and it's actually a video about a problem that I'm encountering. And so it's very odd because I haven't had too many videos where too many videos that talk about a real life problem that I'm facing, but this one talks about it. The video is on being obsessive, common Asperger's characteristics. The author of the video feels that obsessiveness is the most common or most strongest condition that someone on the spectrum faces. I don't 100% disagree because I don't think everyone on the spectrum is obsessive. Interestingly enough, though, she talked about obsessiveness in terms of relationships. And I mean, there's all sorts of obsessiveness that someone on the spectrum of Asperger's has. Being obsessed over a TV show, a certain actor, being obsessed over math or books or a writer or whatever. But there could be someone in your life, like she talks about, that you really admire, and you just think the world about them, and you can't stop messaging them on Facebook or talking to them. And what ends up happening is that they stop being your friend. They stop talking to you. They think you're either creepy or they just annoy you too much. You get too annoyed by people that message you all the time on Facebook or whatever. That's actually a problem that I'm facing, and so I haven't made a video about this, but there are some people on the spectrum I know that really admire me, and I'm very grateful for that I am impacting so many people's lives. But a big problem that I face, though, and I know some of you are watching this video who message me a lot on Facebook, but sometimes it's a problem, and because I'm so busy, and I tell you guys that message me on Facebook, I'm busy, and I'm not trying to be rude. I am really busy. So what ends up happening, though, is if you start constantly calling someone, constantly messaging them, they might stop being your friend. They might not even tell you why, and you don't really improve as a person. So I do think, though, for some people, this obsessiveness really ruins the relationships and makes it very hard for them to make friends. I've even been obsessive like that towards people before. Usually when I in a romantic relationship that has happened, and but in general, though, I don't get too obsessed over people. But if I had a crush, I'd be pretty obsessed, but not too obsessed where I would constantly. But I've read books and things, and I've wanted to get it right, so I knew not to constantly call people. So anyway, I'm just gonna put this out here, and please forgive me for being straightforward. So anyway, when I say on Facebook, so for those of you who do message me on Facebook, I've had times where 5 windows pop up, and the reason why I stay on Facebook and show that I'm active when I go on is because I know some people really need to talk to me about something, or I really need to talk to someone about something, or there's an emergency that comes up. So I want people to be able to get a hold of me. But people who constantly message me all the time, I get really drained, very tired. Sometimes I plan on going to Facebook for 5 minutes or less, ends up taking me an hour to get off of it. And that's just as a result of having 5 messaging windows pop up and people constantly talking to me. So for those who always message me, first of all, try not to message me too much. Try to set a date. Can I message you on this date? Try to make it so that you're not always messaging me every single day I pop on. I appreciate answering your questions. It's just that I'm very busy, like I said. And another thing, I've encountered this a lot, and if I say this or someone else says it, I might say I'm busy. Like, oh, what are you doing? Or I might say I have to go, and they're like, why do you have to go? I'll say I'm busy, or I'm doing something, and it's like, oh, what are you doing? And I like they ask you to clarify, so they're like, don't go yet or whatever. Don't ever I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about anybody in general. Say someone says, I have to go. Say, okay. Don't say, why do you have to go, or can you stay on for another 5 minutes and after that's going to be another. Don't just say, okay. It was very good talking to you. Thank you for taking time out. Don't ask for them to clarify. If someone says, I'm busy, and then they say, what are you doing? And then they say, oh, I'm doing this, to like, oh, and then they ask for, don't constantly ask for all these details. Let the person go. Because all that's going to do is that's going to piss them off, and they won't talk to you again. I know, because it pisses me off. I'm sure it pisses other people off. When someone says they have to go, that means they have to go. They don't have to explain themselves. No one ever should have to explain themselves as to why. Even if it's on the phone, you're talking to someone on the phone, they say they have to go. They're like, oh, what are you doing? They don't have to tell you what they're doing. For all you know, they're doing absolutely nothing. And that's their right. They don't have to do anything. Or maybe they legitimately have to do something, but they don't have to tell you what they legitimately have to do, or what they're not doing, or whatever. That is not your business. That's their business. So keep that in mind. There's a fine line. You have to really figure out how often can you message someone, how often can you call them. You have to be careful about that, really, because otherwise, you could lose friends. And anyway, I'm happy to answer messages on Facebook. So I'm happy to chat. Just keep in mind that I'm a very busy person, and I sometimes do get annoyed. It's true, and other people get annoyed. I don't think it's creepy. I know some people might think it's creepy, especially if you're a guy chatting to a girl like that. Some girls might think that's very, very creepy or stalkerish. So if you're a guy talking to a girl, keep that in mind, because the girl might think you're a stalker. If you're constantly talking, then you say, why do you have to go? That's it. Girl doesn't talk. You're no longer a friend to her on Facebook. She no longer talks to you ever again. Anyway, so this was a video response. Do I agree with the video's view? I definitely think that this obsessiveness with individuals, of other people, does affect some people in the spectrum. I think some of us have learned how to, give people their space, and I think some of us need to work on it. So if this is a problem for you, work on it. Try to keep in mind that other people are busy, they have things to do, and be grateful for the time that they're giving you, if you really admire them. So with that said, I thank you for watching today's video, and I wish you an awesome day of awesomeness. Thank you.